Okay, we're here. Selling Tampa has dropped and been out for a while. And I know I am so behind on this review, but I have to get it out because I watched the entire series in a day-ish, sort of, kind of, because I was just that interested. So a quick rundown. Selling Tampa is a spinoff to Selling Sunset. And don't fight me, because I know how you Selling Sunset watchers like to tussle. But I could never get past the second episode. Them white girls was just not giving me the energy I look for. And they were just so snooty and snobby. Like, girl, who wants to watch that all day? Granted, they were getting to the bag and the homes were nice, but I just could not lock in. And I promise y'all, I did try. But after getting through Selling Tampa so easily, I am going to try Selling Sunset again. And plus, there are a few seasons in, so clearly somebody's watching. It's y'all. Y'all watching it. But as far as Selling Tampa goes, baby, I am all the way tuned in. And it's crazy because I probably wouldn't have watched this either if I didn't know of Sharelle. I am an active listener of the I Am Woman podcast she's on, and she's one of my favorites on there. So that just made me tune in. But I can't lie, my girl had a few moments on the show that had me looking at her sideways like, baby. On the podcast, I agree with most of the thoughts and opinions Sharelle has that are discussed. But I don't know, some of her actions was a little skeptical on this show. Like, Sharelle, why would you do that? But it wasn't like she was horrible, because she really wasn't. And I still like her because at the end of the day, Mamas is the boss and her actions are justified only because, I mean, it is her business. So that's that. Now, before I do get into more of my opinions on Sharelle, I want to talk about how a lot of people was, one, comparing Selling Tampa to Selling Sunset. And I hate people that do that, because at the end of the day, people are different, period. In a all-black POC, all-female brokerage in Tampa, down Florida, is not going to be like a whitewashed brokerage in California that has been in the business, selling luxury real estate for a long time. It's just not the same. Culturally, we are different. We talk different. We're just built different. There's no comparison. So seeing so many doing the comparison thing really got on my nerves. And two, people kept saying how they weren't really selling no homes. Like, ew, how y'all know they didn't sell any homes? At the end of the day, this is a show that is probably shot in 1, 2, maybe 3 months, and they are able to capture everything. So I am not liking how they are trying to make it seem like they are faking the funk. Real estate, period, is about faking the funk. So please, people need to cut that out. I'm pretty sure they were selling homes, but maybe the show wanted to shed light on the larger, more exotic and expensive looking homes, and that's fine. But golly, just enjoy the luxury homes for what it is. They are only on season 1. If the show continues, I'm pretty sure we will get more into them selling the luxury homes. Like, be realistic, people. Jesus. And if I remember correctly, they closed on a home for Monique and her husband at the end of the show, which was big, like 10 million or 7 million. They wanted to spend 10 million, but they was able to find a luxury home for 7 million. Deal closed. But I get everyone watch it for different reasons. So some people wanted to see them actually sell the homes or the outcome of them having buyers. But I mean, how entertaining is that really? Okay, they show a home, someone buy a home, and they move on. Next. I loved how the show shed light on how they can have problems and get through them like grown women, even with their feisty and fiery attitudes. And many people were getting that confused with them being unprofessional. And I'm just so confused on where they got that from when they had clients and buyers. Big buyers, okay? There was literally only like one scene where I personally felt like they were doing too much in front of people and clients and buyers. And that's when Rena was bringing up and talking about how they used a group photo that she wasn't in. Now, don't get me wrong, they were so wrong for doing that, but I'll dive more into that later. But other than that, they were professional when it came to their clients and showcasing homes. Unless it was Alexis who knew nothing. Like, she was just a complete letdown, if we be honest. I just think the people who are complaining about their attitudes don't know how to deal with assertive and strong-minded black women, because at the end of the day, all these women are technically their own boss. They just work under Sharelle's brokerage license. And as the owner, Sharelle knows how to deal with them in their ways. That's why what some people are considering attitudes to them don't bother her. Some people just have extra and strong personalities, and that's okay. No one should be like someone else because that's not how we was created. And I know a lot of people's favorite was Rena because she came off so proper, but boo-hoo. Everyone isn't like that and doesn't want to be, so please. I don't know, maybe I just get it, and I don't expect people to be so prime and proper all the time because that's not realistic, and that also doesn't mean they can't do their job. At the end of the day, those girls were entertaining, real as hell, and hardworking. So I can appreciate that in this season for what it gave. And when it was time for them to be family, they were. People who act so perfect need to remember, families ain't perfect. Okay, I had to get that off my chest. And now that I did, let's talk about the ladies individually. Let's get into Sharelle first, since she is the head honcho. I think Sharelle is taking a military type boss mentality with these ladies as employees, which is kind of expected since, I mean, she was in the military for, I think, 20 years or something like that. So it's instilled in her to be blunt and cutthroat. But she doesn't act like that all the time, just in certain situations, like the whole commission change situation. I do think that the way that Sharelle came off about that was terrible, and what made it worse was how she responded to Rena when she was questioning the change. So Sharelle decided that she would change the percentage of what the ladies would give the business from buyers when they sell a home. And when she had her reasons, and of course, like I said earlier, she is the boss, it's her brokerage, so she can do what she please. But the way she told the ladies was piss poor. She thought it was cool to just tell them at a morning meeting that this what it was gonna be. She didn't give them a heads up, no warning or nothing. And if someone had a problem with it, she got offensive, and her being offended was placed incorrectly because they should be allowed to question something that can affect the way they live. So I do think she was wrong, but I mean, that's what corporations do to us all the time, child. They don't care. But Sharelle, boo, you know better. You come on now, be better. But Sharelle's a straight shooter and doesn't hold anything back, and her agent's been with her for years, so they know that about her. And clearly they don't have no problem with, well, I ain't gonna say with it, because Rena had a problem with it, and I guess Anne-Sophie had a problem with it too. But if they do have a problem with that, they'll address her. Hell, she even tell them to come to her if they have any feelings about things, so they can all speak their piece and find a resolution. Now, what I will also add is Sharelle do not need Jawanna as to be in every conversation being had with these ladies. That is so tacky, I think. And I need Sharelle to know that what she is considering taking initiative with Jawanna is her really being an ass kisser and in people's business. And that's also Sharelle's close friend out of all the girls. So she lets her get away with stuff. And that's what I don't like about Sharelle. Like, that's the only thing. Like, Jawanna, like, no. But let's move on to Rena. I like Rena. She's classy. She has a good head on her shoulders. She knows what she's doing, and she handles what she needs to handle in her own way, as she should. I think Rena's experience in the corporate world, in lawyer world, has built her to move and think different than all the other ladies, which is great. I also like Rena because unlike the other ladies, she won't hold back with Sharelle. She's going to ask questions, be assertive, and be aware, and she's working on her way out, as she should. I'm all for people working their way up and out to have their own. That is what you're supposed to do. No one really wants to cater to someone else's business when they can have their own. So I enjoy Rena. Now, what I don't like is Rena trying to take two of Sharelle's top two performing agents with her on her new venture. So I enjoy Rena. Now, what I don't like is Rena trying to take two of Sharelle's top two performing agents with her on her new venture. And then when she got confronted about it, she was gaslighting, acting like that wasn't what it was. I just feel like if you're going to be that bold to scoop those girls up, be bold enough to own it too, okay? I can't respect that at all. I feel like if she went off and started her own thing and the ladies decided on their own to go ahead and leave, that's cool. But she was really trying to recruit them, and that's wow. I also feel like Rena's feelings on them not using a photo with her in it because they felt like the one photo she wasn't in was the best, was just disrespectful, and her feelings on it was justified, and she had every right to bring it up, bring it to their attention. Now, what I would say is she shouldn't have brought it up at the event where the clients and buyers were. That wasn't the time, especially after how they were acting out in front of people about it just to justify herself. Which also brings me to say that Rena can't be all that prim and proper like social media is saying, because she wouldn't have caused a scene how she did at the event. But I'm going to end off on Rena right there and jump into Don't Know Nothing, Alexis. You know, it's so funny to me because during the show when they would have meetings and I would see shots of Alexis in it, I would always say, who is that girl and why isn't she in any of the other scenes? And now that I've watched the show, I know why that was. Because she didn't have nothing to offer. Alexis just came off as a completely blonde to me that just couldn't get it together. And I did not like how she didn't take accountability for not knowing basic information she should have known when it came to selling homes. I also didn't like how she was using the excuse of she was having problems at home. That's why she couldn't focus on her job as a crutch to why she kept failing and failing. And if that's the case, girl, you need to stay home and get it together instead of going into work and not producing anything. Literally no clients, no homes, no knowledge, just completely empty. It was sad and cringy to watch, and on top of that, she kept talking about how Tennille was trying her as if she didn't know anything. And now that we've seen what went down, Tennille was not trying her. Tennille was being real and being aware of what she can and can't do. But because she kept lying, there was no way for her to actually be helped because she was making it seem like she had it all under control. The whole time, she was digging herself into a hole. It was so cringe to watch Alexis, and her getting let go made sense because she was not bringing anything to the table. She just wasn't. And it's sad that she believed that Sharelle didn't give her a chance to get better and produce, but the girl said she was there for a long time. Hell, I think she was there before Tennille, and she just didn't do anything. And I just hope she took the opportunity to go back to the drawing board and really learn what she should be doing so she don't embarrass herself again. Like, it was very cringy to watch. Like, that's all I got with her. But enough about Alexis. Let's talk about Tennille because, baby, Tennille was everything for me, okay? I don't even know what to say. I like Tennille. I feel like Tennille is the unfiltered friend that everyone needs because she may be shady, but she is real. And it all depends on how you take it because you can tell she really didn't mean any harm unless you try her first, respectfully. Now, I will say that she has to find a way to control her anger because what happened in Miami was just too much. Granted, she was heated in that moment and felt disrespected. And I mean, she kind of was disrespected. But as someone who used to get upset like that, I can easily say most of the time it don't be worth it. At least the person don't be worth getting all hyped up on. And it's so much fun to shade them so bad and have them looking dumber than what they already are. Alexis. But even though Tennille had a little heated moment, she was woman enough to understand she was wrong. She apologized and moved on. So she let it be known we would never be friends, but we can be cordial as long as she don't get called the B word. And if that's her prerogative, that's her prerogative. People just gotta respect it. Well, she just gonna get riled up again. Let's move on to Anne-Sophie because Miss Mamas is also a mess. I can't with her. But let me start off with, I know I was talking a lot of mess about these ladies and their attitudes, but Anne-Sophie was the one with the worst, if you ask me. But I like her to a certain extent because she really isn't that bad of a person. Her attitude is a little hyped up. That's just it. But she's young and she's a top producer, so I get it. But I think Sharelle is the perfect person to humble her. But then again, I think Anne may be getting a little big-headed since she wants to stage a coup with Rena stage a coup with Rena and leave. But even from the first episode, Anne was questioning Sharelle's ability to handle so much while growing her business. Like, Anne, please, this lady been building and been handling difficult tasks, and the little things you are complaining about that she is doing is so subpar. But I think that was just her way of openly saying she wants out in a discreet way and trying to get everyone to agree with her. Now, what I can't believe is she thought it was okay to try and sell a $9 million home for only $3 million and really thought it was okay. And she was going to stand her ground about it. Once again, just being big-headed and cocky. She really felt like she should have been praised for being the only one who brought a client with an offer, but the offer was a huge no and damn near like no offer at all. But that ego of hers had her believing she still was doing a great job. And don't get me wrong, I get it. And I see where she was coming from. It just wasn't hitting like she thought. But I really hated the attitude she caught from being told that it wasn't a good deal. Another thing that I didn't like with Anne was that she got mad with Karla for calling her out when they was having the talk with Sharelle about what Rena was doing. Now, I do think as a friend, Karla could have waited till they were like alone to call her out about, you know, flip-flopping with Rena and not acknowledging it to Sharelle. But I can't take away that Anne did not own her shit at all. She was definitely trying to sugarcoat things and then got mad. Girl, that was so childish. I hope next season Anne realized she had some growing up to do in certain areas, maybe all of them. Now let me get into my favorite girl on the show, Karla, baby. Karla got it from the looks to the sale, and I can see how she's a top producer as well. And I don't care what no one says. Karla and her little stink walk was everything to me, because at the end of the day, she was handling her business, handling her clients, and getting things done. And if you ask me, it seemed like she was putting the most work out this season. Karla was one of the first agents at Alert and was the first agent to close deals under Alert, and she felt like she should have been moving up in the ranks at Alert. But Sharelle was looking past her and just focusing on letting Jawanna move up, even though she came in after Karla. And at first, I thought Sharelle was wrong because everyone at the office kept saying how it should be Karla because she is easy to work with compared to Jawanna, who wants to be a micromanager. But now that I have sat with it and understand how Sharelle is, it makes sense why she didn't move Karla up, because Karla would definitely be the type of manager to not be on their ass so much and just make sure they are doing, you know, their job and what they need to do. Basically, she would be the type of manager that most of us ask for. And for Sharelle, that wouldn't work, because if she isn't there to watch over the girls, she would want someone on them like white on rice. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Karla should have been moved up, especially with her being qualified. But Jawanna made sense for Sharelle. And we can't really do anything but respect that lady, because, like we say, it's her business. Now, Karla is one of the agents that is single, and she look good. Like, she look real good, and she dating around. So, of course, guy clients will try to hit on her, and she'll do some flirting because, I mean, why not? She's trying to close deals. But it was always for entertaining purposes. But some of the older agents were acting like the girl was just out here slinging her little cat all around the place. And to be honest, it was something like a lot of hating to me, but she'll Betty. Like, she a baddie. And one thing about Karla, she always kept it classy, so I give her that too. Now let's move on to Jawanna, child. I really don't want to, but I guess we have to. I mean, Jawanna is definitely one of those people I wouldn't get along with. She just does entirely too much. Like, please sit down over there, Miss Mama, please. She be in everyone's business, so the girls call her HR. But I think that's on Sharelle, because she gives Jawanna that privilege because that's her friend. But she likes to tell people she is taking initiative. Whole time, Jawanna is an agent just like everyone else. I just don't think Jawanna don't produce anything like that. So Sharelle keep her around for paperwork and stuff. And if that's the case, that's fine. But say that. Because as an employee, it seems fishy when an agent like me is in my private meetings with my boss. And always got her 2 cents in what I got going on. So, and she messy to top it all off. So it's like, girl. In this season on the show, they gave Jawanna a storyline. Well, it was her storyline, I guess, for real, that focused on her divorce from her husband and how she wanted to keep it a secret because everyone knows the both of them. I guess in the Tampa area, everybody know who they is, and they be asking about her, asking about him, like, so she want to keep it a secret. And she was feeling embarrassed. But if we are being honest, they could have kept that. Because Jawanna isn't a likable person or one of the cast members that many people care about. She doesn't even make good TV. So that storyline didn't make sense, and it didn't hit how they probably thought it was. But it was cute for them trying. Like, that's all I really got for her. So lastly, let's talk about Karla, who is in a similar boat as Alexis with not producing as much and using home problems as an excuse. The only difference with Karla though is she was willing to accept the help and not complain and not act like she knew she had it in the bag, because she didn't. So she was willing to prove that she can get back to how she used to be in workforce. Now where she was fumbling is she wasn't having any claims, and she was still doing the bare minimum, even when she was being handed the help from Sharelle and some of the other ladies. So my hope for her in the next season is to really step it up, because when her and Sharelle was talking, it was brought up that Karla used to be a top producer as well. So if we can see her getting back to that, it would definitely be good. Overall, I think this was a good kickoff and first season for the show. It really opened up a lot for them to get into in the next season, and it will be a hit, that's for sure. But with that being said, you already know what it is and how it goes down over here. Like this video, comment your thoughts on this show. I know it's late, but just do it. Talk with me. And last but certainly not least, subscribe and join the Queen of Baby. Bye.